Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Claire. I'm glad you could be here today. We finally made it after a long road full of bumps, victories, losses, and a hiatus due to sickness. We're finally here at the end of season 1 of the Wheel of Time show produced by Amazon. And I am here to deliver the verdict on episodes 6, 7, and 8. So we got a lot to talk about, so let's just get right into it. Alright, so like I said in my previous video, I'm going to be lump reviewing the last portion of the season, 6, 7, and 8, just because I didn't want to draw these reviews out, especially after I was unable to finish the season as it aired. But I have finished it now, 6, 7, and 8, just to like put you into my headspace. It is now a couple days since I watched them. I watched all of them together. I lumped all of them together. I watched one boom 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 right after the other, and I took notes while I was doing it, which I did for the rest of the season as well, but just stuff, you know, thoughts of how I was feeling, things I noticed right in the moment. So I have those notes, as well as yesterday I then took those notes, recompiled my thoughts in my head, and then kind of wrote out some more organized stuff. So there'll be a mix of both my first reactions as well as kind of my careful consideration. I will give you a warning though, when I finished episode 8, the last of the season, I did go and watch a review. I watched Daniel Green's review of the last episode, which I haven't done before. I always watched other reviews of the episodes after I had filmed my thoughts, just because I wanted to kind of keep it pure. But we'll get into kind of why I did that, and it was mostly just like I was so built up with feelings about the end of the season that I was like, I have to, you know, compartmentalize that by watching someone else's thoughts. So I did do that. I did break my rule, but yeah, we got a lot to talk about, so let's jump into it. I'm definitely feeling the need for a boost, so, you know, crack open a drink, maybe get a warm one. I have a Starbucks double shot. We all know where this is going. Caffeine. All right. Notes. Overall, my overall thoughts. This is what I wrote when I had a clearer head. Overall, I felt that these episodes got weaker after such a high in episode 4 and 5 for me. Of the 3, I felt that 6 was the strongest, then 7, then 8 being the weakest. Number of tough external factors, as well as narrative choices, made the final part of the season uneven and a little confusing as a book reader. The more in the moment thoughts was like, am I being gaslit by the show? Like, I fully accept the fact that I did not reread Wheel of Time directly before watching the show. I read Wheel of Time in February, so like almost a year ago. But I was like, I had a pretty good handle on what the book was about. Especially through the first part of the season, I was like, okay, I know what's going on. Like, I know what they've taken out. I know what they're putting in, all that kind of stuff. But like, in the last half of the season, I was like watching stuff being like, am I imagining things wrong? Like, is this TV show like right? Or like, did this actually happen? Like, I was so confused and just disjointed throughout the watching of this, which was kind of unfortunate. But yeah. Okay. All right. So let's go into kind of the way I've been breaking things down since we started this season, which is plot, characters, look. So we're going to start with plot first. I felt that they really overloaded the last 2 episodes. There was a lot of plot, a lot of stuff that they had to get done. And I think part of that, I think there's 2 factors to that. I know that I've heard rumor that the actual people creating the show wanted more episodes, which makes sense. It's a big book. They wanted more episodes, probably like 10, in order to be able to tell the story that they wanted to tell. But the studio was like wanting to keep it shorter, 8 episodes. So I think that probably played into it. you know, if you're writing for a bigger thing and then asked to cut, I think that's really a really hard thing, as opposed to knowing the expectation going in and then writing up to that. However, I also just felt plot-wise that they spent a really long time in Tar Valon, which again, I was like, am I remembering this wrong? Like, did we spend this much time in Tar Valon in the book? Am I like going like insane? Anyways, so I just felt like they spent a lot of time in Tar Valon, and then like suddenly it was like, okay, they're in the ways, and then suddenly they're out of the ways, and then suddenly they're at Fal Dara, and then suddenly they're battling, and then suddenly they're in the Eye of the World, like through the Blight. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I feel like this took up a lot more time in the book. Proportionally. Like, obviously it took up more page time, but I think just proportionally it was kind of out of whack for me. Yeah, I just sometimes felt like I was hallucinating a little bit about, like, I was like, did this happen? Did this not happen? So yeah, I just felt like plot-wise, I felt like it was too long in Tar Valon, and then really rushed towards the end of like, oh shoot, now we have to actually like finish this. We hadn't thought about that. So yeah, not to say I dislike the Tar Valon stuff. I really like the Tar Valon stuff. I just feel like I like liked it in the moment, and then now looking back at the whole season, I was like, oh shoot, why did we actually spend that much time there? Like, that's almost like the better part of 2 episodes, I feel. And yeah, just too long. If it had been 10-episode season and we spent 2 episodes in the Tar Valon, or like 1.5, I'd been like, okay, cool, this makes sense, this is fine. But yeah, plotting I feel like was all over the place. A little bit like the early part of the season. But anyways, characters. Obviously, I've talked to death about how I'm really enjoying the characters. The way that they're portrayed, I just feel like is really strong. It's been exciting, been a real highlight for me to see these characters brought to life through these actors who are doing a really wonderful job. And even when the plotting's weird, like, and the dialogue or whatever, like, whenever something is weird, I'm like never thinking that it's the actor's fault. I'm always like, oh, you're amazing. And like, oh, I love what you're doing, and oh, I love seeing you on screen. So like, it's never the main cast's fault. And even with the introduction of Min, I was like, great. I did like Min a lot. I was kind of hoping that she would appear earlier on in the season, but obviously that is not the direction that they took, and then she just appeared at the end, as well as like the Aes Sedai already knowing what she is. I was like, oh, so maybe my hypothesis is that maybe she's going to be featured less going forward because they don't want to bring her, you know, into the story if like the Aes Sedai already know her deal. Who knows? But yeah, overall, the main cast is never an issue for me. I like them. The love triangle though, however, is boo-boo. And I wrote that in the moment thoughts, as well as in my concise thoughts. Bad. Boo-boo. Not good. I did not like the love triangle. Or it's not even a love triangle. It's like a love V. Like, they just both like her. It like kind of came out of nowhere. And I'm not loving this, like, Perrin has to have a love interest. It's just not, it's never vibed with me. I didn't like the wife fridging at the first episode. That was bad. And I just felt like in the books, I felt like Perrin had enough motivation. And like, not every character has to have like a huge life-altering moment to give them like character. And I just felt like what was happening with Perrin in the book was enough for me to understand his character, and I felt like the conflicts that he had were enough to justify his actions, and I was just into that. I'm also sad that we did not get any wolves this season. No Perrin wolves. That was big sad too. So yeah, love triangle, no bad. It's so bad. I didn't feel like there was a lot of chemistry in that, both with Perrin and Egwene, as well as Rand. I just felt like there was no chemistry there that I could latch onto. So yeah, also like not needed. Then obviously in this portion of the season we see the amalgamation of the Lan Nynaeve situation. Obviously I'm a fan. I was a fan in the books. It kind of blindsided me a little bit in the first book, but I was into it. This TV show has done a better job of like kind of hinting at it, but I wish that it was not so exponential in its like ramp up. because like obviously like through the season they've done a really good job of kind of in a natural way putting Lan and Nynaeve in situations together, and then like we see very naturally their like relationship build, and I've really enjoyed that, and like seeing them come to respect each other, which is something I kind of missed in the books, and that's why their relationship really blindsided me in the book. But I just was like, okay, first season or first episodes, they're like chugging along, you know, like it's like gradually increasing. Then I felt like at the end of the season something was like ramped up, and then they're like having fade to black sex, you know, and I'm like, oh, like really intense. I don't know, I would have liked a little bit more of a gradual build up. I'm not saying that, like, what I'm saying is like I liked everything to do with them in these last 3 episodes. The build up, I liked her tracking him. I thought that was so funny, and she's like looking in his window. I was like, it's like so creepy. And she like meets his family, and she like learns about him. All that stuff I was good with. The kiss I was good with. I was like, yes. This is all check. I just was like wanting more of a build up into their relationship. Like I just didn't want it to go boom right into like that territory quite so quick. I get it though, like it's a common trope, especially in modern media, you know, for the next logical step in modern media especially, you know, it's just, for me, the ramp up I felt was like really severe, really steep, and just would have liked, you know, to like cap the season off with them like what's the word I'm looking for? Like cap the season off with them admitting their feelings, kissing, and then like that's the big moment, you know? And then it leaves like more time for them to develop the relationship later on. Yeah, I just would have liked that. That's a personal thing though. I know a lot of people were like, yay, they're together. And I am also in that camp. I was like, I've just been burned by Wheel of Time before. Like I'm afraid that season 2 is going to open and they're already going to be like committed relationship. Like I want them to have that conversation on screen. Anyways, that's my little Puritan heart. What else did I write? Oh, I wrote Min is cool. Smiley face. She is cool. Smiley face. But we need to have a serious conversation about what they did to Loyal in this season. Bad. Boo-boo. I don't like it. Sad. Why? Like I don't even have any more concise thoughts. I just saw that scene and was like, here we are. He done got stabbed. He got stabbed. So that was just sad. And I was like, why did you take this character away from me when he's so good? And like, it just sucks because like, obviously we were apprehensive about the look of the character. And then he was like warming on me because the portrayal was so sweet, so lovely. And then he's just dead. That's it. So that sucked. I was not expecting it, and it was just kind of sad. So we'll see. We'll see how it like moves on from there. Like what his character is replaced with, like going forward. Because obviously, like he's not a huge character. Or I mean, he might become like the main character in the last 3 books. I don't know. I haven't gotten there yet. But like in books 2, 3, 4, he does feature, and he does have stuff to do. So. All right, moving on. The look. So, I just want to I don't want to issue an apology to Wheel of Time because their costuming and their hair has still been weird and something I'm not super into. But I just finished season 2 of The Witcher, and I want to come back to Wheel of Time and say thank you for at least committing to the weird and wonderful. Like, I want to thank Wheel of Time for at least, they don't have an aesthetic. Like, their aesthetic's kind of all over the place. And I don't love the futuristic society aspect of this show. Like, I wish it was just more fantasy, but that's just who I am as a person. But I am glad that they committed to, like, weird hairstyles, like intricate hairstyles, intricate costuming. Because, man, The Witcher, they were so into beach curls and, like, modern gowns in their medieval style fantasy TV show. So having seen something I like even less, I come back to Wheel of Time and was like, okay, I respect. Other aesthetic stuff, I talked about how I liked Tarvalon in the last review. Still like Tarvalon. But I had like a major brain fart. Like when I read The Eye of the World, I read it like, I read Fal Dara specifically as like a Winterfell, like northern city, like fully snowy, you know, like kind of either Scandinavian or like Scottish, like real imposing kind of building in the far north, just because like on the map it's on the top of the page, and for me I just equate that with cold. So that when I was watching the TV show and it was like all sandy and stuff, I was like, what are we doing? Like, this is so weird. And then I went back to the map picture and it's like definitely like deserty up there. So I don't know what I was thinking, but I was like fully shocked when I watched the Fal Dara, like, you know, like the establishing shot, and it was like all dusty and stuff. I was like, whoa, this is way different. But then they show the interior shot and like the town shots and the bars and in the palace and the people and like the aesthetic of it, and I'm like, beautiful. I loved Fal Dara. I thought it was so cool. I loved the aesthetic of everything. It was so good. I just liked it a lot. The Blight, aesthetically, okie dokie. It was kind of actually pretty close to what I had imagined. I imagined like a real life version of like a Minecraft swamp, which I guess is like a real world swamp, but like specifically I thought a lot about Minecraft swamps when I read The Blight for some reason. So it was pretty close to what I had imagined, which is good. And then the other one, I guess the other big one is the ways. We see the ways, which were different than what I had assumed. But aesthetically, like for a TV show, I think that the way that they did it really made sense, and I think it was really evocative of the feeling you're supposed to have when you're reading about the ways. I really liked it. I wrote in my immediate thoughts that it's Evil Giant's Causeway. So if you know your Irish geography, you'll know what I'm talking about. But I found the ways to be the Evil Giant's Causeway. It was cool. It was nice. Yeah. I guess the last big thing is obviously these last episodes we also really felt I really felt the loss of Matt, which I know to be an issue, a conflict in actor contracts, and that actor is not coming back, which is unfortunate because I did like his portrayal. I thought he was good, but yeah, it was like that scene where they're like, no, Matt, and he's like standing there like outside the ways, and then the door just closes, and I was like, oh, okay. Like, that's it, I guess. That's the last time we see you. Bye-bye. So that was like weird. And then I felt like that lost the rest of the season. I was like, man, especially in that argument scene. Oh my goodness. First of all, I hated that argument scene. I think it goes back to the love triangle thing that I hated so much. I really did not like the argument scene. I just felt like it was trying to do stuff that it could have done so much easier in a different way. Like, I just don't think it was a strong choice narratively. When the four Two Rivers people are like having that argument, and I was also like, man, this would be so much better if Matt was here, you know, just like maybe stirring the pot a little bit more, or also like just being grumpy and like telling them to shut up. I would have appreciated that. So yeah, I think that's a lot. Like the other big thing is I just felt in these last episodes really missed his presence, especially because he's like getting eviler and eviler as the season goes on. Then all of a sudden he's healed, and then all of a sudden he's gone. So that was disappointing. But yeah, overall, I finished the season now. But in terms of these last 3 episodes, it was not the finish I was hoping for. Like I said, the first 5 episodes, each one got stronger for me until 5, which I really liked. And then after that, 6, 7, 8 kind of got weaker and weaker and weaker, and I just felt like, yeah, narratively, it was not the strongest choices that they could have been making, which sucks. I am still stoked for season 2. I still think that there's a lot of room that they can, I don't know if redeem is the right word, but just revamp and like move forward past this maybe little tough spot at the end of season 1. And I think that there's still a lot of really great things about this TV show. So yeah, overall, I don't regret the 3 hours I spent watching this TV show, but I didn't exactly love it either. So do with that what you will. That's my review. If you like the content that I'm making, please leave a like, drop a comment below with what you thought about these episodes, something I missed, something I did mention that you want to talk more about. I like discussing these things with you in the comments, so please, please, please leave a comment It's super fun. And if you're enjoying this content, subscribe and check out my other videos. I have a link to the rest of my reviews, as well as my reviews of the books. And that's it. Have a good afternoon, evening, whatever you got going on, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.